The work of the United Nations, through institutions like UN Women and through the leadership of member states, has helped place women's economic participation at the center of global development. By championing financial inclusion, entrepreneurship, and equal access to capital, the UN has helped move the conversation from aspiration to action. Today, we are here to discuss an idea that builds on that progress, bringing Wall Street to Main Street. For too long, the world's financial systems have often felt distant from the everyday entrepreneurs, from women, innovators, and community builders who are the true engines of growth. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please tell us about yourself and about your initiative.
Yes, my name is Jenny Gulamani-Abdulla. I'm the co-founder of Canadian Federation for Citizenship. Our organization aims simply to promote citizenship, but that citizenship is inclusive, it's responsible, and it's active. And women make up half of our citizenry. 50% of our populations are women. So CFC is absolutely privileged to be here at the United Nations during the 70th session of the Commission for the Status of Women.
Outstanding. And tell us about the presentation that you just completed.
Yes, our workshop was actually titled Turning Meritocracy and Pluralism to Overcome Structural Barriers. And we focused on some data. We also focused on a couple of different examples from United States as well as Canada and New Zealand. We also talked a bit about what the difference is between diversity and pluralism because, we speak about diversity all the time,
Right.
and diversity is a fact. But are we simply tolerating differences, or are we really moving to a pluralist society where we learn to embrace these differences because these differences can actually be used to our mutual benefit? And so that's what we focused on. And looking at structural barriers and how perhaps they're embedded and rooted in some of our systems and structures, how they could be unintentional, but sometimes intentional, and how this may even be historic. So it's also about bringing everyone to live in today's modern world and the realities of today's current global context.
Excellent. So during the conference presentation, you mentioned that there are some of the old contracts. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, we find that companies, including large corporations, are still utilizing employment contracts that are not updated. Um, Countries have moved forward on this. In fact, you have employment contracts that are 40 years old that are still being utilized and have not been updated. And some of these place women at a disadvantage. What happens is, women sign off on their contracts stating or agreeing that they will not be discussing their wages with their other coworkers. And, and this, I believe, should change. In fact, it's not just I believe it should change. I think companies need to modernize their own structures and their own processes and procedures to ensure that they're creating a pluralistic environment where we are embracing differences, and wages should not be a secret. Everyone should be able to understand what it is that they make and for what roles and responsibilities they are earning those wages for. Women need to be paid the same or equal as men, and we are now living in a meritocratic world. We live in a meritocratic society, and pluralism should be an aspiration of any workplace that seeks to be respectful of diversity, embracing differences, and it starts with looking at our very structures, systems, policies, and practices that we have in place and ensure that women are on equal footing to men.
Right, thank you for that. And during the conference, also was mentioned that some of the challenges exist when it comes to women entrepreneurs and financing their ventures. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, in Canada, I think we're really moving forward with financial institutions being very much focused on women. In fact, our government has been quite active with this as well, creating women led business initiatives where women are moving further economically. I think the business case speaks for it itself. And banks today actually have, focused programs, focused initiatives, focused resources to ensure that women have what it takes to succeed, and that we are changing some of our models or some of our traditional models to keep up pace with women and their lives, because today women are still doing more unpaid work and are still trying to what we refer to as balance between work and family life. So it is absolutely imperative that the financial industries, the financial institutions look to cater to the other half of the population that may seek to establish themselves in business, and I must add, can do it quite successfully. You can see all the successful business women that have risen to the occasion, and it starts with financial inclusion.
Excellent. And how was your experience interacting with the United Nations on this project, and what do you expect from this speech that you made today and this presentation?
Yes, I also sit on the rapid response group of Canada's negotiations team
Okay.
that's working on the agreed conclusions. And so I have the two perspectives, one from civil society, being co founder of Canadian Federation for Citizenship, but also with my background in law and being in practice for over 30 years
Okay.
with immigration and citizenship, to actually look at it from the point of view of new and established immigrants, because immigrants do become citizens at the end of it. And I think looking at it from the government perspective as well now, on what member states are saying that they can do and what they're signing off as obligations, and then whether that translates into practice. So being able to see firsthand what the agreed outcomes include from a global perspective, but then also being able to bring in the Canadian perspective.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Wishing you good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Pleasure.
this.